With the Model Y coming out just around the corner, how is that going to affect the sales of the Model 3? Now I know a lot of people's first impulse is to say, well, they're totally different cars. One's an SUV, one's a sedan. So I'm sure the Model 3 is going to be fine. And even Elon said on the Q4 earnings call that, back when they unveiled the Model X, a lot of people expected the Model S to sell a lot worse, but Model S actually ended up selling better once they rolled out the Model X. So he did admit that they really have no idea what's going to happen. They can't predict the future, and that the main constraint with Tesla production is, of course, batteries. I feel like I should just put a ticker at the bottom of every video that says that, like, yes, I know battery production is limited, whatever. But I'm just gonna come forward and say it. I do think the Model 3 sales are going to be cannibalized by the Model Y a little bit. I don't think the Model 3 is going to completely tank and get to a point where no one even wants it anymore. Clearly, there is still a market for it, okay? I completely agree. Model 3 sales aren't gonna die, all right? If anything, the resale market of the Model 3 should get way more interesting once the Model Y comes out, because I'm anticipating a substantial number of Model 3 owners, once the Model Y becomes available, are likely going to consider trading in / selling their Model 3 because they want to upgrade. Now, if we look at Model 3 sales around the world, it's safe to say it's been selling pretty great. Even in the United States, best-selling EV of all time. In Europe, it's crushing competitors because, hey, funny enough, price, range, once you nail those two things, you end up doing pretty well. Not to mention their supercharging network and all that. But I honestly think a lot of this stems from people that just wanted a Tesla and didn't really have the budget to stretch up to a Model S and X. And definitely there's a lot of benefits to the Model 3 that the S and X still don't have. But the Model 3 was so groundbreaking because it brought a lot of Tesla tech, like autopilot, potential full self-driving in the future, supercharging capabilities, software updates, and that kind of thing to a more mass market audience by bringing the price so much lower. And that's pretty much been the only option if you wanted to spend, under $70,000 and still buy a really nice Tesla. Model 3, that's the only way you can go. And when it comes to competition that's able to pump out a 300-mile range and keep the price point somewhat reasonable, there's not much out there. That's why the Model 3 did so well until Model Y enters the picture. Now we're finally getting back into the realm of, okay, around $50,000 to $60,000 price tag, but you're still getting over 300 miles of range, not to mention all the other benefits that come with the Model Y. We've got the panoramic glass roof, we got the powered liftgate, and also a hatchback. More than 4 times the cubic feet of cargo space in the Model Y as well. I'm sure that means a deeper frunk. Of course, the optional 7-seater, and it sounds like there's going to be a button you can press that lowers that middle seat. Not to mention some aesthetic benefits of it sitting higher off the ground. Some people prefer driving that way, and a lot of early access people are saying that it's much more spacious in the back seat compared to the Model 3, which was a fairly common complaint. Your feet have to sit up quite a bit compared to the Model Y, where you can just relax more and you have much more headroom. But don't get me wrong, I totally get it. The Model Y is more expensive, but in the grand scheme of $50,000 cars, an extra $4,000 is definitely going to tip people over quite a bit, because like I said beforehand, if you wanted to get a reasonably priced Tesla, you had to get the Model 3. Once the Model Y starts delivering and people are able to order that and actually get it within just a few weeks, that's when we'll probably get some more realistic statistics to see how many people were just buying the Model 3 because they wanted a Tesla, and how many people are willing to stretch the budget a little bit to have more cargo space, to have an SUV, which is a very common demographic in the United States. And Tesla themselves said they expected to sell better than the Model 3, S, and X combined because this is such a popular car size, and now they're bringing that great range at an affordable price point to the SUV segment. So in the not too distant future, when people are ready to order a Tesla and they go to their website, it begs the question, is Tesla going to leave the Model 3 as the default option, or are they now going to present both the Model 3 and the Model Y, and now every customer that checks out Tesla.com has to decide, well, do I want a smaller sedan, or could I pay a little bit extra more and get something with a ton more cargo space, more spacious, and much better glass roof, that powered hatchback? There's a whole assortment of benefits that come with that Model Y that I definitely think there's an overlap here. I personally know a ton of people that were considering buying a Model 3 but decided to hold off and not get it because they were very curious about the Model Y. And I'm also aware of several people that have a Model 3, but once the Model Y comes out, they want to test drive it, and maybe if they like it enough, they'll consider selling their Model 3 and paying a little bit more money to get access to the Model Y. So Q1 sales of most cars are usually pretty bad anyway, so we're not really going to get true statistics to see how the Model Y sales affect the Model 3 until probably end of this year, maybe into 2021. But my guess is the success of the Model Y being a much more practical car, and now we know that the range is pretty much on par with the Model 3. The fact that you can get 315 miles, and sure, you can save some money by going with the Model 3, but the range difference is only 7 miles when we're talking about total range, you know, that's practically nothing. And there is a price point difference there. It's pretty much like $4,000 extra to go with the Model Y over a 3, which is why I'm going to say that the Model 3 is not going to eat it hard. I don't think no one's going to buy the Model 3, but this demographic of people that are looking for somewhat affordable Teslas is now going to be diversified a little bit by the Model Y, and I would go as far as to say that even the Cybertruck coming out could affect sales of the Y and 3 in the long run, because I've already seen lots of people on Twitter and in the YouTube comment section say, you know what, Model Y's cool, but man, Cybertruck's just on a whole nother level. So, but what do you guys think of Model Y cannibalizing the Model 3? Do you think it's going to be significant? Do you think it's going to be a little bit? Or are some of you out there saying, no, not at all? The Model 3 is going to continue to sell even better alongside the Model Y growing in sales as well. Both of which I would say are possible. But once again, I'm putting myself on the record and saying Model 3 sales are going to be cannibalized a little bit. I would say like 10% lower than what they would be if the Model Y didn't exist. But feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have an excellent day. Take care.